Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of the My Love of Golf podcast. It's Ross here, and it's just Magic, Mike, and myself going solo at it today. Well, not solo, it's two of us, but we're a twosome, not a threesome. And it's a massive week in golf. There is golf happening in all points of the compass, north, south, east, and west. Well, maybe just more Mediterranean and not Mediterranean, more Middle East and Australia. But let's crack into it. I've got Magic Mike just waiting on the other intro tune. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, subscribe to YouTube. We've cracked a few more this week, so thanks for those people who have. A few more would be great. On the tee, the two ball from My Love of Golf, it's Magic Mike and yours truly. Magic, how are you?
Excellent, mate. How are you?
Good. You just went blank. There's a little bit of dead air there. You're back now. Mate, we're just the two. Rocket's out. He's got flat pack-itis.
I was about to say that. He's absolutely no doubt. He's flat packed out.
He is pretty busy up there keeping the global I2 world secure. But funnily enough, we talk about him in his global I2 world. His competitor business is the major sponsor of one of the big events that we alluded to happening in all points of the globe in my backyard, the Players Series, which kicks off Rosebud this week. Magic Mike, it's a fairly solid field for an Australian event, considering what is happening around the world. Yes, we've probably lost a couple of players to some of the other global events, but when you look at that, when you look down the event list, the entrant list, of the Players Series, which is hosted obviously and the brainchild of Jeff Ogilvy down there at Rosebud, it's a pretty solid field.
Yeah, it's an excellent field. Like you said, I think we've lost a few that are shooting over to the Asian Tour and playing in Saudi if they can get there this week, which a couple of them have, like our mate Dobbs. But there's certainly a great field, and the boys and the girls playing together. It's and the weather looks pretty good. Should be a good tournament.
Well, the praises for the Rosebud Layout. They're playing on the north course at Rosebud. Now, Rosebud has got a north and an east. So they've got a interesting setup there. They've got a couple of different configurations that they can play. I remember playing Pennant there for Mornington against, I'll tell you a funny story in a sec, actually, playing Pennant there for Mornington. And you never really know which track you're going to play on because they've got blue tees, yellow tees, and other colour tees, and they sort of mix them around. So you might play on half and half. But you want to know the funny story? It was not that funny. It was interesting sort of country Pennant sort of story. So this is back in the days of rangefinders, GPS. And there was definitely a rule that's been in the Peninsula District that said GPS measuring devices were permitted to be used in Peninsula District Pennant. And we had this almost come to blows. Like it was like grown men behaving badly. One team said, you can't use that. The other team, which my team, said, we can use that. You can't. We can. You can't. We can. Well, how are we going to sort this out? And it was nearly one of those sorts of grown men situations behaving badly. So that was my entry independent for Peninsula District. Nearly getting in a punch on. Well, not really, but
was it when you say GPS, like on the phone or with a Bushnell?
No, it was predates phone GPS. It was, phones were still little tiny things, with monochrome screens back in those days.
Yeah.
It was, remember the first ever MGI?
Oh, the little box things.
The little boxes with a green thing?
Yeah.
And of course, one of the guys in our team had one and there was two brothers and they weren't going to stand back and be told that they can't use the GPS.
Yeah.
And anyway, nearly got messy, but Rosebud, we actually lost the final that day. But Rosebud's a beautiful golf course, and obviously OCM team they're the consulting architects there. We're massive fans of OCM and Mike.
Yeah.
Ashley Mead and obviously Jeff. They've turned that place into a wonderland. Its conditioning's always been good. It's even better. It's going to play a little soft because there's been a little bit of rain down here. But
yeah, you copped a lot more than we did up in the northwest. We got very little rain the other day when all that rain came through. Lots of people, I think, out the west, there's a few spots that got 50 mil. We would have been lucky to get 5.
Yeah. So I might go down there on Friday. I might go and have a little bit of a look before I get attend to some other work. But the field, let's go through some of the field. So firstly, first point of order. That's what I've gone with.
Yeah.
I joke, and most of the stuff that comes out of my mouth as either a swipe at myself or just trying to have a bit of a laugh. It's never really taken that seriously, but one of those things that we don't take ourselves too seriously on is me being the win whisperer, the tour whisperer.
Yes.
If you want to win on tour, you've got to get alongside me at a pro-am. Well, you know that I played at the pro-am at the WPGA Melbourne International event sponsored by Drum and Golf last week.
Yep.
Played with Stephanie Nah. What a fine young lady. We talked about Steph last week. Just a wonderful young woman and great golfer. Didn't play that well the day that we played. Finished fairly strong. Shot the low round of the tournament the day after. Goes down to the Peninsula Kingswood Foundation Pro-Am on Monday at the PK, I think it was on the North Course. A whole host of a lot of the players that are playing in the Players Series played in the Pro-Am, were invited by Fraser and Jeff to go up and play there. And Steph goes out and wins the thing.
Not only wins it, how many birdies did she have?
She shot 66 and had 10 birdies along the way. Now, just to paint the picture of Steph Nah's 10 birdie route of the North, I think it was the North Course, 10 birdie route. She had about 2 hours sleep. She flew across from Adelaide that morning and bolted down to PK and just rattled off 10 birdies. So she was very appreciative. She did. I did remind her the mojo is with her. She did say, "I hope I haven't used it all, and I hope it can be. I appreciate. She said, "I hope I haven't used it all. I appreciate it, but I wouldn't mind sticking around for some bigger wins." And she could win. She could win this week. She could. She's got some stiff competition in the women's side with Steph Kiriakou and Kristen Rudgley and a whole host of Christelle Bloom and
Grace Kim
and Suo. Is Suo back? I think Suo's in the field.
Not sure.
Maybe no. Suo's maybe in the state. So anyway, that was the Whisperer's back. So
the Whisperer's back. They rubbed off again.
If you are playing at the Vic Open next week,
you want to be drawn, Ross.
I'm just going to say I'd be jockeying for position now.
Normally it's the other way around. Normally the AMs are hoping for a good draw of a pro, whereas we're saying it's probably going the other direction.
I've thrown that out in the head. I've thrown that concept on the head, and the proof is now there. Within the 6 to 12 months, and in Steph's case it was 6 days, you will go on to win.
Yeah, well, can't argue with it. You can't. It's literally exposed form. That's happened. It's once as a fluke or whatever it is, but 3 times.
If playing with Ross in a pro-am was on your spreadsheet there, that vast entity that you look at, be unbackable. Anyway, who do we fancy?
Strokes gained Ross pro-am.
Oh dear.
Well, we talked a little bit about this the other day. I think you thought Bryden McPherson was probably a good bet. I don't disagree. You know his game a lot better than mine, and he knows that area well. I think I'll probably just stick with Alpha Smiley he was my pick the other week at the Aussie PGA, and he played some good golf. And he played well in this last year. So I think I'll probably stick with him, or either of those two would be good. Michael Sims there as well. So those 3 are probably the ones that I'll be working around.
Well, certainly Bryden has been a fairly consistent performer. He won the New South Wales Open last year in the broken up tour season that they had and cobbled together. But he's playing pretty well. He knows the track. He's his hometown. He once upon a time played for Devil Bend in that Peninsula District pennant as a kid. That's where I first met Brighton. He was a little young upstart, just playing lights out every week, and then got whisked up to the Big Smoke for pennant up there. But he could go well. But yeah, Elvis Smiley, he went really deep.
He played well. I think Bryden went well okay last year as well. I had a very quick look at the tournament, just the history from either last year or the year before. Did they run last year with COVID? I can't remember anymore. It's all sort of blending into one the last couple of years.
Yeah, it was the first year, so let's call it last year and move on. But he finished 5th. Elvis went pretty low. Who won? Brad Kennedy. Brad Kennedy won. Yeah.
Did.
But a lot of people are fancying Dave Michalusi, obviously another golfer that plays down this way and has played a lot with the guys from down that part of the world. Obviously the Marcassanis, that's their home track. So there's a fair bit of local talent on offer.
I think like we were talking about earlier in the week, I think after you watch the Aussie PGA, I've already forgotten his name, but he won the PGA, was a local RQ boy. Now a lot of people have put that in their mind. Well, if people that know the course well enough are winning, why wouldn't you go and look for someone who spent a little bit of time playing down on the Mornington Peninsula?
Let's look at some of the other players. Men so far, we've got some serious big tour names. Matthew Griffin,
yeah,
one on this tour, plays in Japan, performs really well. Anthony Quayle won last week. Who else have we got? We've got Mark Fraser, European Tour winner, still playing really, really well. Jeff Ogilvie, of course. Jared Felton, super duper player from Western Australia. Former European Tour player, Timmy Papadakis, Scott Arnold, Diane Lawson, obviously some legends, Peter Lonard and Peter O'Malley, Richard Green.
Matt Miller somehow always finds a way to finish top 10. Michael Sim, West Australian, I think Michael Sim.
Rookie Fowler. Sam Brazel's played on the European Tour.
Aaron Pike, who played well again. He was up at the PGA and played really good golf.
Brady Watt, former number one ranked amateur in the world, and also plays his golf down this way. Clearly, we're scrolling through the screens there. This isn't written down, but there's what we're saying is there's a lot of players. Who are you going to pick? Who are you picking? Elvis Smiley, right?
I'll stick with Elvis. If you're going to take Bryden, I'll take Elvis.
Okay, I'll go with Bryden, and I'm going to stick with Steph.
So you can say stick with Steph. That way, if Steph Kyriakou wins or Steph Nah wins, you're going to claim it, aren't you?
Oh, no, I'm going to go with Steph. I'm going to go with Steph. No, I'm not going to be that vague, but Steph Kyriakou, she's a great young player as well.
She's very good.
That's my picks there. Might get down there. If I do, you'll see the photos, obviously, on my love. But the big event, what is the big event? Is it the PGA Tour or is it the Saudi International?
The PGA Tour would love to tell you that it's Pebble, but looking at the field, it's probably the first time ever when we can say there's an event on the European or the DP World Tour, there's an event on the PGA Tour this week, and there's an event on the Asian Tour, and the biggest one of the lot is the Asian Tour event. That's hands down.
If you measured the size of the tour by winnings or wealth, it can only be one tournament that's going to be that competition and therefore be the biggest one this week. Now, just before you and I start talking, this is where I'm going to insert an interview that I've just got off the phone before we caught up with Blakey. Now, Blakey, the listeners would know from being the chief of Golf Rules Questions, he provides a great service to golfers who want to learn more about the rules. Blake and I have worked together on his podcast. I consulted to him on the YouTube thing. He's gone from 800 to 14,000. He's just doing great work, and he's over there refereeing. So he is on the ground at the Saudi International and doing his work, which he hasn't done for a while in terms of refereeing. So he's pretty excited. So I'm going to play that interview with Blakey from one of the referees. It's going to be alongside all those players that we talk about. Patrick Reed, I asked him about the rough and the depth of the rough in true Rocket sort of fashion. Of course, like a true professional, he sort of batted it away. He knew where I was going and he just maintained a strict professional bat. You can hear that, and we'll put that in now. David Blake at the Saudi International. Welcome back to the My Love of Golf podcast. It's been a while since you've been on, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Rossco. Yes, it's been a while since I've been on any podcast. I don't know if you know, but I'm missing you over there at the Golf Rules Question.
Well, I'm sure you're missing me, but I'm sure the fans are missing me as well, David. Don't worry. Hey, but more importantly, not about me. Spent too much time talking about me on this podcast, so this is about you. You're in your natural habitat, Blakey.
Yeah, back doing a tournament, which we're very happy about, and very lucky that I've been invited here by the Asian Tour. So looking forward to this week.
So you find yourself over there at
Royal Greens.
Royal Greens at the Saudi International, refereeing with the Asian Tour. How did all that come about, mate?
Yeah, so obviously I've been working at Spring Valley Golf Club the last 3 months, which has been great after I left Golf Australia. You know, the COVID situation has meant that I haven't been working too many tournaments of late, and something that I absolutely love doing and wish I was doing full time. ended up getting a job at Spring Valley, but in the meantime, have been keeping my ties and I'm a friendly guy like people, so keeping in touch with the people that run tournaments and referee, and a guy over at the Australian PGA has made it all. Nick Dasty has made it all happen with the Asian Tour. So yeah, they made the connection and made the invite to me to come over here and referee at the Saufi International. Now that it's on the Asian Tour rather than last year it was on the European Tour. So yeah, made the trek on Sunday night. It was about 13 hours to Abu Dhabi and another 2.5 to Jeddah, and then an hour and a half car ride up from Jeddah to where we're staying in King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, and then Royal Greens, the golf course, is in Economic City. That's right.
Mate, very exciting. I know you're pumped because we spoke about it the other day to get back on the refereeing scene. It's been a while coming for you, and career-wise, you've pivoted, and it looks like the move out of Golf Australia into the golf course world, and then just being open to talking to other people in other parts of the world and other tours, maybe opening this door, and who knows where it goes from there. But I know that you are pumped to be back out there, pressing the flesh with the great golfers of the world. Who have you got up there? Who have you seen? Have you? It's obviously not the tournament hasn't started yet, but the gents are out practicing. Have you been out there just flexing? Hi, I'm Dave. I'll be calling the shots here this week. Watch out for me. If you see my little non-roof cart coming, lift the rope over at the appropriate time. Thanks very much, Mr. Mickelson.
Yeah, no, it's been good. Rubbing shoulders, not quite. I stick under a tree and just make sure that the tournament goes ahead as well as it should, and everything, all the setup and everything's going well. And as you said, it doesn't start till tomorrow. We've got the Pro-Am out there today, so I'll probably rock out there and see some of the Aussie players. I've seen a couple of the Aussie players already: Ben Eccles, Lucas Herbert, Louis Dobler, Wade Ormsby. I think Scott Hens here this week, Cameron Smith, Mark Leishman. So there's a good Aussie contingent out here. I think Brad Kennedy's here as well. I haven't seen it yet. And then there's all the paid players from the European Tour and the PGA Tour, which is a fair whack. I was looking at, obviously I'm on that Teepster with My Love of Golf, and I was looking at the AT&T, and I thought that was a bit slim for big stars there this week. Most of them are here in Saufi International, so Bryson's here, Patrick Reed. Plenty of sand around in the desert, lots of really, really, really green grass. So, it's a picturesque course because of that.
Really, really green grass. How's the rough looking? Is it, hand level deep, finger level deep?
Well, it's quite an interesting. I'm just in the real beginner stages of learning what grass, what type of grass is used and all that kind of thing. And a lot of power here, and which they have to water a lot. So in terms of sustainability, I'm not so sure it quite works in that mould. The desert beside the fairways and rough is constantly wet from watering so much at night time. They also have, let me get back to that point, but they also have light towers. I'll send you a photo, Ross, but they also have light towers out here on the back nine for night golf, which just looks fantastic. The lights were actually on this morning, and I'll try and, when we get here early tomorrow, it'll be interesting to see. You can just turn the lights on and the greenkeeper can cut the grass at 3 a.m. or whatever it is. But getting back to that point about the rough height, it's 70 mils. They're cutting 70 mils, but it's quite interesting because we threw a few balls into the grass and it sort of pops itself up. It doesn't sit down. It doesn't settle down. It actually pops itself up. So it's not as hard a shot as a lot might be thinking. And you certainly shouldn't be able to lose your ball in that 70 mil cut.
The moment's probably past, but it sets up for the joke. It's probably no good then hanging out with the rough's not deep enough for him to perform at his best this week, where your department's concerned, David. But I'm sure that nonetheless, if you find yourself near Patrick Reed, you might have a situation to adjudicate on. That might help your stocks rise in the Asian Tour and the World Tour situations, David. If you can get your mug on TV adjudicating for Patrick Reed, that'd be all right, wouldn't it?
The dream is always to call a player out and make sure that all the other players now make you the hero. But no, that's not the kind of situations you do want to find yourself in. Usually the official referees doesn't really take gets the positive review. Everyone usually just blames the rules, but we're just out here saying what the rule book says, and we do it for the whole field, so we're as even and consistent as possible. Greens are free of creating that big situation like John Paramore did with Sevi Ballesteros with the hole under the tree 35 years ago, but I don't think that's my style. My style is just to make sure that it's consistent. Everyone plays under the rules consistently, and it'll be a big pace of play issue this week too. So it's a 7,000 yard course with it's close to a type of a resort course. Close. So the green to tee walk probably makes it an extra. At least an extra 1,000 yards, and getting upwards. So you've got an 8,500 yard walk, plus they're playing golf. So pace of play will be tough this week. And, it's nice, 28 degrees, cloudy day to day. The wind is supposed to get up a little bit to about 40 k gusts. So it's really going to make pace of play difficult. They're teeing off at 7 a.m. and then, it gets dark here about 6:30 because it's basically in the middle of winter. Pace of play will definitely be at the forefront. So hopefully they're not too slow. We're pushing them along.
How many referees have you got over there this week?
So there's Asian Tour referees. The Asian Tour are just getting back on its feet. For the last 2 years, hasn't had any tournaments. COVID's really killed it, put a bullet in its at least in its side. But they're patching it up and managing to create tournaments again. And this is one of their biggest tournaments, or if not their biggest tournament on the tour. So a lot of the referees, they've found other jobs in the previous couple of years, and so we've got some new guys. And then they lean on some of the federations, like obviously, Australia, we're sort of a partner with the Asian Tour with a couple of our tournaments. So that's why I'm sort of over here working with them. And then, the Korean Golf Association has sent someone, and then there's a few of the Thailand, a few of the Thai Asian Tour regulars, and then Filipino and Malaysian Tour. So, no one, referees, we don't really try and be famous or anything like that, so there's no one that anyone would know, but we're just here to make sure that they're a well-run tournament, basically.
Mate, you're talking about the Asian Tour, not being very active the last couple of years. It certainly seems like it's got a bit of a shot in the arm on the back of the announcement for with the LIV Investments and that organisation putting the events together with Greg Norman, yeah? Has there been much for talk and chat about that?
There's a huge shot in the arm. It's a massive deal, and they're trying to make waves in the golf industry. And it's an interesting situation that maybe I'll elaborate on it a little bit more in the coming weeks with you. But they're even going to try and where the European Tour have gone into Asia. Now Asia are thinking about going into the European Tour territory with that tournament in London right before the US Open. So, it's very positive around here. Everyone knows that there's a lot of money and they're trying to get something done. And, the Gulf Saudi are behind this. They're backing it with LIV and PIF and whatever other acronym you can find. But, they're really trying to grow golf in Saudi Arabia. Greg Norman's obviously got a lot of courses that he's probably going to design and set up in the next few years. If I play my cards right, hopefully I can become a permanent fixture on the Asian Tour. But who knows? Contractor for hire at this stage, and this is a good start.
Thank you, for the advertisement there. Just backing that up. If anyone's looking for a referee on any global tour, DP World Tour, Pga Tour, or in fact the Asian Tour where you're currently at, David Blake, you can contact him here at the My Love of Golf podcast, or you can get him at the Golf Rules Questions. He's everywhere with Golf Rules. How many YouTube followers have we got you up to now, mate? Where are we at?
We're up to 14,200, so always looking for more. And you can, we do a lot of good rules education stuff there. And also we try and explain a lot of the situations that pop up on the PGA Tour and the European Tour. And maybe even this week we'll find something. Asian Tour, from the Asian Tour coverage, and I might have to explain why I gave a ruling the way I did or something like that. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, mate, I hope it. I'll let you go because it is. We are on the phone and it's costing someone here, $40 a minute. I'll let you go. I do hope that you do, have a plain sailing tournament, but I do hope you get to use the skills that you have and have crafted over many years of being ahead of the curve in, as you mentioned, those, the sites, the golf rules questions, all the work that you do there is a wealth of information for golfers of the world who, there's more and more coming into the game every week. We all know that. We talk about that. So, your resources are a valuable support to golfers, and it's proven by the fact that it's grown so much. It wasn't that long ago, however many months, maybe 12 months, 18 months ago, that we're sitting here talking about a YouTube channel that had 800 subscribers. By the way, that's another plug for the My Love of Golf YouTube. 121 subscribers, Dave. We picked up 3 this week, so we need a little bit of your followers' love. But yeah, we had 800 or so a couple of years ago. You had 800 or so a year ago, and 14,000. So it just shows how valuable and relevant your content is. And I'm glad that you're over there doing the biz, mate. I'm proud of you, mate. So well done.
Thank you very much, Rossco. And obviously, you've been there right from the start. So I really appreciate it. And we've got a great working relationship together. So, I'm glad that My Love of Golf is kicking goals as well along the way. So, as you said, if anyone is looking for a referee for their tour, I'll be back to doing Spring Valley Club Champs next week. So it doesn't matter if it's $5 million or $5. I'll be there. But please speak to my manager, Ross Flanagan.
Hey, you keep going.
You've been a great supporter of mine.
I'd be happy for that title and that job in all seriousness. Mate, say good day to some of the chaps that we know over there. Good day to Wade. Say good day to Herbie, Louis Dobbs. They're all great favourites of the podcast. We don't ask them to come on, but they know that we love them, and we know that they will be doing their best to play and represent and try and win some cash. So say good day to those boys when you see them, and send us a photo, and that'd be great.
Yeah, awesome, Ross. Awesome. I'll keep the inside word as when it comes to hand. But I look forward to catching up with you in a couple of weeks and give you a bit more information on what I found out.
All right, mate. Great to have you on the My Love of Golf podcast again. Thanks, mate. I'll see you later.
Cheers, Roscoe.
Anyway, Mike, so that's Blakey. Pretty exciting stuff for the young man.
Yeah, big. After, like you said, after a little bit of time away, to step into a small tournament would be one thing, but to step into that with the likes of Dustin Johnson, Xander Schauffele, Cam Smith, Tyrrell, Bryson, it's a big day for him, big event.
Who are you going with?
As much as I don't like picking him, and it's purely because he can be completely headless at times, I'm probably going to pick Tyrrell.
All right.
Yeah. DJ's had exceptional form here. I think he's won it twice, and Bryson's won it twice. I've got a soft spot this week for Leash. I think Leash can have a good week. But I was going to pick one. I'd probably say Tyrrell over Leash.
So you'll stick with a European. Tyrrell plays everywhere, but European and more European oriented than PGA Tour. So you're not going to go flat out with an American.
No, Tyrrell's had some really good results in the Middle East. His price isn't extraordinary. He played pretty well last week without really ever threatening. I think he'd been the pick. But you can't go wrong. There's so many people you can pick from this week. Such a deep field.
Aussie Abe's there, Tony Finau, Cam Smith. Wow.
Yeah.
Patrick Reed, Matt Wolf, Thomas Peters, Wahine Neiman,
Fleetwood,
Garcia, Herbert, Lowry, Poulter. It goes on and on and on. But even some others, just a shout out to Jamie. Good day to Jamie. Jamie's over in the States still working with his clients over there, and he's just spent like Monday last week or this week, he was with Ryan Ruffles, and Ryan Ruffles is now on the ground in Saudi about to tee it up.
It'd be good to see him pick up some. It'd be good to see him pick up some good, solid form and lock it in for an extended period. Promises. He's got a lot of ability.
Who are the other Aussies? We've talked about Benny Eccles. We've talked about Louis Doblar.
Yeah, Dobbs is there. Wade Ormsby's there.
Wade's there. Louis James Doblar. He's got his full name listed out there. Louis James Doblar. And who else? Scotty Hand. Who else? Who was the?
Didn't see many others after that. After the Aussies, there's a few that you wouldn't have sort of expected, purely because I think, like we were saying, being an Asian tour event, probably a little bit more gateways to get into the tournament.
And do you know who Louis Dobbs has got on the bag?
No.
Also backing up after a fairly big week.
Who?
Gaz.
Where was he last week?
He was helping Ash Barty hold the cup up at the Australian Open.
Oh, I thought you meant he was caddying somewhere else. I thought, crikey, why would he be somewhere else?
I'm pretty sure I saw Gaz Kissick over there with Louis Dobbs. Gaz has caddied for Dobbs through when he won the Dogwood and all of those amateur events last year. But obviously Gary Kissick, a great golfer in himself, and Ash Barty's partner. Pretty fairly sizable couple of weeks for Gaz, and then he's just jumped on the plane and going over there to caddy for Louis Dobbs.
Yeah, that's a solid 2 weeks. It's 3 weeks, 2 weeks of the Australian Open, and straight over there.
Is Jed's playing? Jed in Saudi? Jediah?
Yes, I think he might be. Jed who won the who I couldn't remember before, who won the PGA. He is, yeah he is. He's playing there. Marked around the same price as Jason Duffner and our boy Jazz.
Jazz Jane Watnanond.
Jazz Jenna Watnanond. What's another nod?
Say it
That's
again.
one of those ones.
Jazz.
What? James Watnanond.
Jazz Jane Watnanond. Watnanond.
Yeah. Go around forever on that name. It's one of those ones whenever they do those quizzes, they try and get people to spell it. No one ever gets it right.
Another reason why the European Tour is pretty good, because they always get Jazz Jane Watnanond pretty spot on. Okay. Now there's another tournament happening, a little PGA Tour event over a little golf course, one of those Hacks courses over at Pebble Beach.
There is Pebble this week. Well, first we should go through last week, because people that are tuning in for the tips, Luke List won. It was a battle of the non-winners in the end. There was Luke List and Will Zalatoris, and went to a playoff at Torrey Pines, and Luke List prevailed with an exceptional shot into 18. Put it into about 1.5 feet. Did you watch much of it last week?
No, I didn't. I stayed up and did a little bit of European Tour action. I'm that part of the...
You're the other side. You're the other I clock in and you clock out, and vice versa.
I'm a night person. But good on you, Mike, for wanting to talk about the tips, because it would have been very easily for you to hide from your poor
No. Well, I feel bad for the other... I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that are also on $0 after three rounds. I'll name them all, because I don't want to feel left out. Ro Adams hacked to single figure. Robbo Magic, BT Elect, Spieth Fanatic. They'll probably save Spieth this week. And Sandy Saves. Now I should add in at least 2 of those signed up this week, so I haven't had a chance to pick it. I've had 3 cracks at it. But yes, I am last. I am equal last in the tipping. Nomadic golfer who's having his best life ever. He's touring around Tassie, playing some great golf, and he's leading this comfortably from the Shermanator. Goffey in 3rd, and then Public Golf and Brett McDonald make up the top 5. But you and Rocket are fighting it out. Rocket's been stiff. He picked Russell Henley and then changed his pick by accident, and that would have got him, I think, 2nd prize. And this week he had Jay Day out of nowhere, and that nearly got him a win. So he shot up to 12th on the ladder, and you're 13th. So you're side by side, 12th and 13th. And before you ask, I'm tied for 54th of 60.
Yeah, I think most people who listen to this are part of that, or if they are part of the tipping comp, they do listen, and they've reminded you.
Oh, that. Do you know how, I'm not even joking, I would have at least 6 people messaging me either pictures of the Audi symbol for this week in case I get 4 zeros in a row, or just basically wanting to know who I'm picking so they can pick somebody else. That's how I'm going. But I think, look, I'm glass half full. I look at it like, imagine how difficult it is to make a pick of someone who's in the top 5 in the odds and they miss the cut 3 times in a row. That's as in footy tipping terms, that's as hard as picking the loser, which is hard as picking the winner. So see what I'm going? I think I'm doing very well. Maybe not. But last week, Kirky, Public Golf, Goffey, and Brett McDonald all picked Will Zalatoris, who lost in the playoff. Probably lost it a bit earlier with his putting. His putting is horrendous inside of 4 feet. And so they picked up 915,600 points for their troubles.
He still, he arm locks it,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got this, in the short putts, he's still got this big inside stroke. It's just.
Oh, look, and you know that my putting stance and grip is weird, right? So, and when I look at him, I think he looks weird. He doesn't look comfortable. It looks twitchy. The putt that sort of floated around a bit, I felt bad for him. And I was a little bit surprised the last couple of days at Tory. They seem to have cut practice pins right next to the tournament day pins. So he was putting over an old hole. You could see the circle. So that was his first problem. Like you said, he locked it in. I mean, it was only 1.5 foot. There's no excuses. Just give it something. But and get it there. Don't just take the break out of it. But he just looked twitchy. He took it away on kind of the outside and then came back for a loop, and it was a very weird stroke.
Well, is he a backer upper? Is Jay Day a backer upper? Who do we go for?
For this week at Pebble, I'm going to go with. I'm actually tossing up between. I think it's a very weird field here, right? So when I look at the data that I run, the data lake, the person who stacks up the best is Will Zalatoris. Now, I would never pick Will. Best reason is he's withdrew this morning, so you can't pick him. So anyone who's put their tips in early and doesn't listen to this and they don't pay attention, there's a chance they might end up still picking him. And the second pick comes up as Dan Berger. Daniel Berger, for me, is going to be my pick. I am a little bit worried about him, one, because I keep picking losers, but also because last week he had a couple of times he had his caddy pick the ball out of the hole for him, which tells me his back's not going too well. But he plays so well here and he stacks up perfectly. But it's either him or Cantlay, and I don't want to burn Cantlay at Pebble Beach. I think I'll save Cantlay for the majors.
Why does Danny Berger play so well at Pebble? Like, is it just he hits these
don't know.
low scun cut type shots that those little fizzes.
I was listening to I was reading something the other day that a PGA, an ex-caddy had written, and he was describing what works here, and he sort of said, it's kind of like, it's a very hard, it's like a bit of a Rubik's Cube on how to play well here. Stroke gain approach will help and bits and pieces will help, but being able to take into account the fog and the weather changes and other bits and pieces that sort of happen, and playing in a Pro-Am with, super slow rounds they're going to have this week. It's something that once you sort of get used to it or figure out how to play it or are comfortable with it, you just tend to play well there. I think if you look at guys like, well, I think you said Jason Day. I'll look up as an example someone like Jason Day because I've got his stats here. Now, Jason Day's finishes at Pebble since I've got the last 10 results. He's finished 9th, 6th, 64th, 4th, 11th, 5th, 2nd, 4th, 4th, 7th. That is unbelievable results for a tournament to finish that many top 10s in 10 years. So I think it's one of those things of just being comfortable. And when you're comfortable and you've got it all right, and it takes a bit of effort. I mean, as you know, being a professional Pro-Am player, it is a different sort of golf, and being able to be comfortable playing with people that aren't professionals and people that are going to want to talk and they're going to probably annoy you and it's going to be slow. You need to be comfortable with that.
I don't know how they do it. Like, I don't know if we mentioned this last week, but playing with Steph, we were having that good a time, just chatting and getting to know as a group.
Yeah.
Her caddy included. Like, it was like a social round, and I got a few holes in, and I had to sort of stop myself and think, she's playing for money here, so just back off. And I couldn't obviously tell my other playing partners what to say or what not to say. But I did get super conscious of the putts that she was hitting, especially early in the round when she made a couple of bogeys, like where they missed, and my playing partners were like, "Oh, good roll."
Yeah.
I'm like, just
Yeah, she's playing for money. She doesn't care about our 4-ball score.
it's the last thing you want to hear. A putt that's missed, a good roll as a pro, just get in the hole and be a great putt in the hole.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that these guys playing for score, subject to that sort of vibe with some of these other players that are playing with them. And I just don't know how they.
And with all due respect to, I'll just pick someone that I know is playing, Clint Eastwood. I mean, he's going to be having a long day, right? And he's playing a long day, and these guys here they're playing off of different tees and all sorts of things, but some of the swings you're going to see if you watch the coverage, and to be honest, I think it's the worst week of the year to watch PGA Tour golf. Like, I don't want to watch Larry the Cable Guy scull 5 woods into 170-metre par 3s. I don't care. Kenny G, don't care how you hit a golf ball. Alice Cooper, why am I even looking at you? Did a little bit of it, but they go so heavy on the AMs. It's not great coverage. And look, it's great. It's a beautiful golf course. I'd love to be able to play there one day. But yeah, for coverage and watching it, it's not my favourite week of the year.
Alistair Presnell has a great story about his time playing in this Pro-Am. And Alistair is a Tiger supporter, and he played with someone who owned a team. I can't remember which team it was, but they were the same colour as the Tigers. And I won't retell the story, but he kept talking about the Tigers, and the person who owned the team of the other colour kept, getting agitated because Prez was going, "Go Tigers," and the other guy was going, "No, it's not Tigers. I'm the whatever team is." And anyway, I don't think they saw eye to eye. But anyway, when he told me, it was a funny story. Well, I'm going to go for Jason Day. Yeah. I'm going to go for Jason Day based on that form guide, and thanks to Matty Mollica for also suggesting as much. But I will make a notable mention, and I meant to make a notable mention of him last week, and he performed very well. I won't tip him, but he's there. He's been practicing there. He's with his coach. Coach has been on this podcast before, Andy Proudman. Aaron Ryder.
Yep.
Trying to forge away in the PGA Tour this year, first year in the tour, and playing really well.
Playing really, really well.
Playing really well. Yeah. So look out for Aaron Ryder. If you want someone other than Jason Day and you are nervous on Jason Day's longevity, Aaron Ryder could be someone who might do well.
No, he stacks up very well. So he stacks up number 10 in my my models. Berger's first, Cantlay second, which is easy because they're the two best, and the data doesn't lie. Lucas Glover, Hayden Buckley come up next. They're probably middle of the road. But the guys that I think are going to be very popular this week, Maverick McNeely played really well here last year, and can shoot a very good score, low scores. Mito Pereira, Tom Hoagie. And then the other one that's probably just a little bit different, a guy who's about 100 to 1, I think he's about 120 to 1, Troy Merritt, someone that stacks up pretty well as well. So there's a lot to choose from up the pointy end anyway. I mean, if you don't like any of those, you've got, 155 other people to choose from.
Now, as we said, it's a big week. PGA Tour. The PGA Tour is in... Saudi, are they in Saudi? They're in Saudi, yeah? I'm not PGA Tour, sorry, the DP World Tour. Sorry, DP World, PGA.
The DP World Tour is in the Emirates, United Arab Emirates, yeah. So it's a bit all over the place. It's one of those ones where I think I said before, I just automatically, when I thought the Saudi event's coming up, that meant that was DP World Tour. But it's not. It's the Asian Tour. So the DP is running themselves. They're running it. I'm going to try and pronounce this for everyone at home, and I'm not remembering off the top of my head. I am reading it. Al Hamra Golf Course at Ras Al Khaimah.
I think it'd be Khaimah.
Khaimah?
As in Martin Khaimah.
Ras Al Martin Khaimah in the United Arab Emirates. Yeah. So again, not a super field. There's a lot of people that have either taken time off or gone to play in the Saudi event.
Interesting. It's really interesting to see. Obviously, the players from Australia that have gone to play in Saudi have some Asian Tour affiliation, the ability to go across there and But they've got money to go, like Wade
yeah.
and Hend being paid to go over and play there, or they've just nominated to go there because it's better field, better money, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think those guys towards the bottom end would have been they would have been signing on purely because they know that's a solid pay this week. Like it's a good pay packet or opportunity. If you make the cut, it's going to be some solid coin. But yeah, the guys at the pointy end, they're all getting paid to be there. They're on a no. Got a funny feeling. I could be wrong. My memory's not always the best, but I remember someone saying not long ago that the lightest pay pack was, I want to say it was a couple of $100,000 to go over there and play if you're on the Pga Tour. A couple of $100 US to shoot over and play in the Saudi, win, lose or draw.
So, like for example, Ruff. If Ruff goes over there and MC hammers, that's the sort of money that might be slung his way. No,
so if he MC hammers, Ryan, he'll get nothing.
Right. So
they're probably giving him something. I mean, you would think that for someone like that, for him to travel, take the punt to go there and do that, you would hope that there's something in it for him, maybe some travel expenses, possibly. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
But for someone like DJ, there's
millions,
400 to turn up, and then opportunity at prize money and whatever else. I'd be shocked if Herbie wasn't getting paid to turn up.
It'd have to be more than 400 for like DJ and P Reed and those guys. I
don't know. It's a lot of money to throw out there just to turn up. Anyway. If you multiply it out, it's going to be a big chunk of change before you even get to the prize money.
Well, we'll get back to the point about the chunk of change and then the other stuff that's going on around the Saudi League. But the DP World Tour, who do you fancy there?
I really haven't looked at it at all. I paid a lot of attention last week. Looking at that list, I'd probably end up shopping well down the list and pray for a miracle. I'd probably follow somebody like, I was going to say Thomas Detry, but he cannot putt. I'm going to go with Nikolai Hogard.
Nikolai, what's his name? Nikolai Hogarden.
Hogard.
I'm going to go with Patrick Harrington to be inside the top 10.
I'm changing. I'm going to go with Hao Tong Lee.
Hao Tong Lee showed some form last week.
He's showed some form since he's been back. He played really well on his US turn up in the US event, and he played really well last week. He might have pulled his finger out and decided he knows how to play golf, and he might try and do it every now and then.
I don't know Hao Tong Lee. I've never met him. I maybe met a caddy of his once, and he was an interesting character. But I think Hao Tong Lee is an interesting character, and he's no question about his golf talent. He is a super talented golfer, and I just think he's got to get his head right and get in and decide that he is actually, as you say, in the game, and he can play golf. Like, he is a super golfer.
I think the biggest thing with him is, well, it's probably tarred him for a little while, is what he turned up and did for the President's Cup.
Yeah,
he turned up without his caddy and didn't really get involved and played like shit. You just can't do that.
Yep. Oh well, let's hopefully don't put the moz on Hao Tong Lee.
Sorry, before I move on.
Yeah.
I saw today 2029 President's Cup might be coming back, Royal Melbourne.
Well, wouldn't it be?
It should be there every year, let's be honest. But I know they would never move it there. I know, like, before anyone sends me another message and says, one, you don't know how to pick golfers in a one and done. Two, it's never going to do that. How good would it be to get a Ryder Cup at Royal Melbourne?
Yeah.
Be unbelievable.
It's never going to happen, but it would be unbelievable, predominantly because it's not in Europe.
No, I know. Maybe one day they get a neutral event.
I think the President's Cup at Peninsula Kingswood would be immense.
You would say that. I'd love to see it at my local goat track. No, I'd like to see it at Peninsula Kingswood as well. I actually mentioned that when we were at the North Course, finishing off. I know you made a really good point about that last one not being wouldn't be the tournament. Actually, it might be for for something like the President's Cup, the 18th at the North, because you're still shaking your head.
No, there's not
a lot of games go to 18. That's why I thought it wouldn't be the worst. I really like that.
Yeah. Well, what would be the 16th? The 16th would be 16th on the south. No, the 16th on the south would be the par 5, or the 16th on the north would be the par 3. Yeah. Plenty of room for stands around either of those two holes, but certainly the 18th at in a tournament setup, not a lot to go to the 18th.
Have you got a composite course?
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect.
Plenty of car parking.
Write on a letter.
And a range and facilities and accommodation for the and big. Yeah, that'd be great. Train line just down the road. But anyway, we're dreaming.
Well, at least your dream was a little bit more possible than my Royal Melbourne Ryder Cup. Just a little bit.
That's still on the bucket list. I've been close to the Ryder Cup. I had tickets. I told you that I've had tickets to the Ryder Cup and couldn't go.
Well, I've looked into the 2023 Rome tickets last week.
Oh, see.
The weekly tickets got released and are all sold out. And so I'm waiting for the next release. I'm assuming it's daily tickets.
Can't you buy like a packet, like a package?
I'll probably do a package, but I might need to sell my car to buy it, my guess is. Looking at the current tickets for the President's Cup, I think it is this year.
Price gouging, mate. That's what they're doing to us golfers. They're price gouging.
I don't bloody miss it. No, look, it's on the list.
Okay, let's DP World Tour. What about the women?
Sorry, I should say before, I know you watched it last week. You just said the DP World Tour last week was a really good event. I really enjoyed it. The Rory Richard Bland, Victor Hovland show. Did you watch the final round?
Yeah, I did. I'm interested to see what everyone else would think, but I was perplexed. I tried to put my Rory hat on, and I come to two conclusions. What would he do if that was the last hole in the Masters? Made the same decision.
What about sevens? Before we even get to 18?
Well, yeah.
How do you? I think you parred 4 days in a row a drivable par 4, Rory.
Yeah.
And how do you get there on the Sunday and roll out the same strategy? I'm baffled. I think he had a one-shot lead at that point, maybe.
He did.
No, was he tied? That was shocking.
Just to see where he drove it there, like on the short and left. Like
way left, yeah.
It's just, it makes sense for me and you. That type of shot, but it doesn't make sense for him with the latest started out. I know they're not perfect and they're not infallible, but later started out stealth driver. Nothing wrong with the driver. It's more him. And but why would you? You don't set up to hit it there.
He could have hit. I mean, I don't know his numbers, but he could have hit 7-iron pitching wedge.
Well, who made the playoff? Richard Bland, 48 years old.
Because he made 30.
He went bang bang and played from the middle of the fairway by laying up.
Yeah, I was about to go to bed, so I thought, this is over. And then Victor Hovland made a pretty stabby, rubbish putt and missed his par putt. Might have been around 15, 14. And then he went birdie. And then I think he went eagle he drove the 17th and made eagle, made an absolute bomb. And that's when I woke up and realised I'm not going to bed anymore. And then he made a rock solid birdie on 18 after knocking it on in 2. But like you said, Rory comes to the last hole, tied for the lead. I think he teed off with 3 wood and then hit 3 wood in. Is that right? Or did he hit driver?
Pretty sure he hit driver and hit a good driver and was on the right-hand side, and then just went with the fairway wood, and it was just this high whiffy cut into the water.
And it wasn't like it just missed. Like it missed.
Yeah.
Like it was a bit like was it Herbie's one that fanned off into the water, or I've seen Leach do it over in Korea a few years ago. when it's out there and gone, it's like that's not getting there. In you as soon as you hit it.
Short pin. You never short pin as in the pin was tucked close into the water.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's probably into a little bit of wind, so they're going to hold it up into the wind. It's going to come down steep, but still, if that was the Masters, would he have done the same thing? So does he not have the respect for the tournament? Like, I get the fact that he just wants to nail it and get it on and get the win rather than muck around with, playoffs or whatever.
Yeah.
But if that's is he not treating the tournament with the respect that it deserves? He just doesn't care.
Well, he's not won one of those events where he gets his little star on the leaderboard. He's not won one yet.
So you'd obviously want that. Like,
surely
you want your name. You want
the
your
Rolex
star.
event.
Yeah, you want because it was the first time. It was newly elevated as a Rolex event. It'd never been one before. It was an Omega event.
Well, I know there's another podcast that calls, you got Rory, and then they call Victor Stoned Rory because he's like a mini Rory. Tell the difference. Victor Hovland can close. Like, he can close. Like, he was not, with 3 holes to go, he was not in the mix. I don't know if anyone else shot anything close. He shot 6 under final round, but I don't think anyone else got close to that. That's unbelievable golf.
He finished way earlier, and I saw the people wanting his golf balls. I said, no, I might need them later on.
Yeah.
But Richard Bland is just seems like a great fellow, great ambassador of English golf, and on the European tour there, he got a bit stiff there at the last. His lie clearly wasn't great. Hit a 5-wood, fairway wood. I'm not sure if it was a 5-wood. I can't remember, but he went to the left side, which had a little bit of a bailout relief. Stiff with the lie, very unlucky with the putt. Didn't play a bad shot out of it. Unlucky with the putt, should have went in, but didn't. The rest is history. Of course, one of the I forget the name of the commentator that works on the European tour is Richard Bland's coach. So the first person that person had to talk to was Victor Hovland. It would have been a bittersweet interview to do. You're just interviewing the player that's beat your player, the guy that you coached, the coach to get to that place. So anyway, it was good fun. I enjoyed watching it.
Well, just to put it into context, Richard Bland and how he's playing, I'm just pulled up his data golf stats right now. In August 2019, what was Richard Bland's world golf ranking?
Oh, I think it was like 600 and something. I'm pretty
sure. He was 500 plus, and he must have done something good in August 26 and shot up to 232nd.
Yeah, he had a win last year, and I forget where he won, but I'm sure he had a win.
Might have been that one. And since then, he's just improved and improved and improved, and now he's up to 65.
I love it. 48 years old.
Sorry, 53. 53. So he's not far away from, I don't know if it still works around the Masters, but it's just so good. I don't know how old is he? 48, nearly 40. He'll be 49 next month.
Yep.
And he's playing the best golf of his life. So there's still a chance. I've got 4.5 years and I could be knocking on the door playing in the Masters. That's why I'm looking at it.
My time's gone past. I've got a couple of years on Richard Bland, but
I like that no one else saw you nodding at me just then and just giving that absolutely nothing.
But nonetheless, still an inspiration for me, Richard Bland. Any of the golfers that are, approaching that age of 50 that are doing really well, it just means that you can crack on and you can do the work and you can get better at golf.
And you know where it is? That's exactly where you should be getting better when you're at 49. So when you look at his stats versus the rest of the golfing professional that are sort of looked here, he's above average in driving accuracy. So he picks up 1.2 strokes around on that. In strokes gained approach, he sits at 0.8, which is above average. Around the green, half a stroke, above average. Putting, nearly one shot, 0.9, above average. But he loses 1.6 driving distance, as you would expect.
Yep.
But that's delivering the results.
Kids, short game. Practice your short game because it'll stay with you when you get to Richard Bland's age. And don't practice bombs because you'll get to my age and you can't and you can barely putt, and you'll be backing yourself in for 26 to 29 points on a thrice weekly basis. So chip and putt.
You'll win some long drive comps. So there you go.
Speaking of, Blakey was the last recipient of my last long drive win. He won the driver. He got the driver. Was the driver from my long drive win.
Oh, wow.
They gave a prize away as a Titleist driver, and it was 4 models old. I hadn't seen one in my Drummond golf shop for 5 years, and it was still brand new on the plastic. There you go. Lydia Ko had a win at the Cambridge last week. That was good. She beat Danny Kang. What a leaderboard this was. 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 4. Lydia Ko, Danny Kang, Yuka Sasso, Charlie Hull, one of our favourites, and Celine Boutier, who's won at the Vic Open a couple of years ago. And the women move on to the Drive On Championship at Crown Colony Golf and Country Club.
Last week was really good. I watched a bit. Lydia Ko is nails. She was nails down the stretch. Danielle Kang put a lot of pressure onto her. Right at the end, I thought Danielle Kang was going to catch her. Lydia hit into 18. She put it in the pot. And I thought, she needs to get up and down here. Otherwise, she's going to be in playoff. Hit it stone dead. Hit it to... She wasn't short-sighted, but she didn't have a lot of room to work with. She hit it to a foot. So I was like, Danielle Kang can't get her here. She's going to tap in par and it's over. But it was a good watch. Danielle Kang's playing some amazing golf. Lydia Ko is still a freak. Yuka Sasso is amazing. There's so many good golfers to watch. I'd love to. I know we get a lot of. We did. Well, we probably won't this year for the Big Open, but it'd be great to see some of these golfers come out here and play and get to see them in the flesh.
Yeah, it'd be great to see all of those women down. The closest we're going to get to this year is when the co-sanctioned European Tour and WPGA Tour events happen up in New South Wales and Bonneville, and then it moves up to Coolangatta. Co-sanctioned, so we won't see any of the European players until then. But I agree. A Solheim Cup. It's like saying we need a Solheim Cup down at Royal Melbourne.
Should get one at Royal Melbourne and then at PK the year after.
Could happen. Probably not. I think I've got a maths episode to catch up on. I better go.
You better go. My wife's watching it, so I will not have to watch it, which is great.
We'll save the chat about the what is it called? The Saudi Premier League, the PIPL. What's it called?
They've announced the Live. Greg Norman's group's announced 10 tournament season kicking off. We can talk about that because I'm sure Rocket has some hot takes.
It's interesting, and to put a bit of perspective on it, spoke to Blakey. He's obviously over there working, and who knows what might happen out of that for a young man like him who just wants to go and referee some golf. But he's doing a job.
Yeah.
Now, there's obviously a lot of money there. These other guys, do we put the same sort of blinkers on for them and say they're just doing a job? Interesting.
No.
Okay.
No. It's different for me, and there'll be many people that have different opinion. And to be honest, you guys know that I listen to laying up stuff religiously. My knowledge of Saudi and what has happened there, and I was absolutely blind to it. And I've learned so much more in the last 12 months, probably in the way that the Saudi golf doesn't want it to happen, or the Saudi government, and in that I've learned the bad stuff rather than thinking, this is great, there's some golf going on. And I think it's different to someone who's being paid to go there to do what they're doing, to give a great view of it, to someone who's going there to do a job. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we might expand that conversation when Rocket comes back, and maybe when Blakey's back, and we might invite Blakey on just to give us a little bit more of an in-depth view after his experience over the playing part of the week, and we might digest a bit of that and open it up. But Mike, thanks for joining me in this dynamic duo. My love of golf, twosome.
Thank you. And Rocket's pick this week is Mav McNeely.
Okay. Well, I'm Jason Day. He's Mav McNeely, and you are?
The Kiss of Death is with Daniel Berger.
And let's hope that this episode is not brought to you by the 4 0 rings of Audi, the Vorsprung Dirk technique. Okay.
Let's hope not.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. And once again, check us out over at the YouTube channel. A couple more subscribers, just a couple every week. And by 2029, we might get to that elusive 4-digit number, 1,000. But if we
that's what we'll do. When we get to 50,
what do you mean 50? 50?
What are we at?
121. Thanks very much.
When we get to 150,
right,
I'll put all 150 names except for mine and yours in a jar, and I'll draw it out and I'll send them something.
Cheese week.
Cheese related.
Cheese week for everyone. And congrats, not congrats, well done to you and to me. We gave Rocket some shtick last week that he should have blonded his hair. Maybe that's why he's not here, because he wanted to surprise us with the peroxide blonde and it's gone bad. It's probably purple. No, but he probably didn't dye his hair. But you and I stuck our money where our mouth was and put 100 each in for Lifeline. And if anyone else does want to do that and share their receipt, we'll give them the props they deserve as well.
100%.
Great Cause Lifeline. They take a call every couple of minutes with someone in need. Suicide prevention 131114. If you need any help, hope you don't. But if you do, there's always people there. And if you do need any help with tipping, call me. Don't call Rocket.
Don't call me. If you want to play golf in the next week and a half, let me know. But other than that, I've got nothing.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.